Jagat, Jagat Mata Shachi Mataji, can you please change your name for the attendance? Hare Krishna. Jagat Mata Shachi Mataji.
Done, Mataji, done. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Danapnam. Prabhuji is trying to join. He's facing some difficulty in joining, so he might join any time. Request you to please wait for 2-3 minutes. हरे कृष्णा अमरेंद्र हरि प्रभु जी।
यस माता जी। तो
क्योंकि आपका नाम ना हमेशा कुछ स्पेलिंग कुछ और ही आता है, तो अगर वो टीचर नए पढ़ेंगे तो पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे। ये बस स्पेलिंग में हमेशा चेंज तो कर देती हूँ, बट हाँ मतलब फिर आप अगर आप डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाएंगे फिर वही आ जाता है, अगर आप अपने एंड से कर पाए चेंज। अमरिंदर हरि प्रभु जी।
हाँ माता जी बताइए।
हाँ, मैं कहती हूँ आपके नाम की स्पेलिंग चेंज हो पाएंगी क्या, आप कर पाएंगे?
अच्छा मेरा नाम की स्पेलिंग गलती है, एक बार देखता हूँ।
हाँ, वो मैं करती हूँ ना तो फिर वो फिर हट जाता है, आप करोगे ना परमानेंट चेंज हो जाए।
वो
तो फिर ना आपका नाम ले नहीं पाएंगे ठीक से, इसलिए मैं कहती हूँ कर लेते।
मैं देख
हरे कृष्णा दीन पावनी माता जी। हरे कृष्णा दीन पावनी गौर प्रिया माता जी।
माता जी।
कैन यू प्लीज राइट योर इनिशिएटेड नेम?
यस माता जी।
ओके।
Yes, 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 I can. Sorry.
हरे कृष्ण। here again.
Hare Krishna, Rukmini, Harishwani.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept our respectful obeisances at your feet. We are really glad to have you here.
Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine grace. Prabhuji, devotees anyways know you, but I would like to take 2 minutes of yours to speak something little about you. So, we heartily welcome His Grace Srivas Prabhuji. Prabhuji joined ISKCON in Ghana, West Africa in 1981 and got initiated in 1983 by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. First, he served as BBT manager for 4 years and then served as temple president for several temples in Nigeria and Ghana.
Internet connection bad today.
Uh, we beg forgiveness, Prabhuji. We are not able to hear you properly. He is not here.
His connection is not all right.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. His guest Shiva's Prabhu's internet connection is weak. So we are trying, Prabhu is trying to connect. I'll please update in next 5 minutes what happens.
हरे कृष्णा। तो अभी मेरा जब तक क्लास स्टार्ट नहीं हो रहा है, प्रभु जी नहीं आ रहे हैं, तो मैं सबसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि अभी हिरण गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज जी की तबीयत बहुत ज्यादा खराब हो गई है। तो सब लोग उनके लिए भी प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं, अभी चैंटिंग कर सकते हैं, कीर्तन कर सकते हैं प्लीज। तो इंटेंसली आप लोग प्रार्थना करिए। लेटेस्ट न्यूज है कि बहुत ज्यादा मतलब उनको स्थिति खराब हो रही है, हार्ट कभी कभी रुक जा रहा है काम करना वो, और वेंटिलेटर पे गुरु महाराज हैं। तो प्लीज आप लोग एक बार प्रार्थना करिए, मेरा सभी से निवेदन है। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
वेलकम वेलकम प्रभु जी, वेलकम।
Sorry for the inconvenience. We've lost 30 minutes just trying to connect.
No problem जी, thank you so much for joining प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, I just want to give a
Hare
short description please of your. So I was his guest Shivas Prabhuji joined ISKCON in Ghana, West Africa in 1981 and got initiated in 1983 by His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj. First, Prabhuji served as BBT manager for 4 years and then served as temple president for several temples in Nigeria and Ghana. He also served as regional secretary for West Africa for 30 years from 1987 to 2016. Prabhuji completed Mayapur Institute Bhakti Shastri course in 2008 and Bhakti Vaibhav course from Mayapur Institute in 2013. Since then, Prabhuji has been teaching these courses in Mayapur and Vrindavan Higher Institute of Education in MIH and VIH. Prabhuji established the Bhakti Vedant Academy for Culture and Education in West Africa for Shastric education of the devotees. Prabhuji served as Global Duty Officer, where he served with the GBC Executive Secretariat and facilitated the development and promotion of the Ministry of Education project. Books are the basis. So many devotees are here also a part of this WhatsApp group. After successfully completing GBC College for Leadership Development in 2016, Prabhuji was appointed Zonal Supervisor for West Africa and he continues to serve in this position till date. He also serves as GBC Deputy Member of TASC Task for the Assessment of Sannyas Candidates, Sannyas Ministry, Executive Member, Sustainable Vaishnav Community Development. In 2019, Prabhuji was authorized by the governing commission body GBC to become Diksha Guru in ISKCON. So we are really fortunate to have such a humble, exalted Vaishnav who will teach us Canto 4, 4 chapters, 20 to 23. So we heartily welcome His Gashi Vats Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for accepting this invitation. Basically, your presence is really a blessing of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind introduction. We are just trying to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, trying to share the knowledge Srila Prabhupada has given us. And it is my greatest pleasure to meet enthusiastic devotees like you who are interested in studying Srila Prabhupada's books. We have no other engagement except studying Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada said his Guru Maharaj had given him a transcendental engagement, and that is studying these books, writing them, and distributing them. So similarly, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has given us these transcendental books. He has given us transcendental engagement for the rest of our lives on this planet. And I am honored to facilitate the study of this unit. So my method of facilitation is we would go through the verse translation. I've got a PowerPoint of the purports. I've picked some areas of the purports into a PowerPoint to make it easier for us to concentrate. And then we'll make very brief comments on the slides that we have made into a PowerPoint. We are supposed to be treating a chapter a day, which is a lot. So it means we have to move very fast. Otherwise, time will catch up with us. Particularly today, we've lost 30 minutes in trying to just connect. So before we proceed, let me just offer some prayers to my spiritual master and to the previous acharyas for their mercy and for their empowerment to facilitate this unit. Om Jnana Timirasya Jnanan Ganashalakaya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunastam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Ashri Tatmane Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tetareti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvase Sashuyavadi Pasachade Satarini Vanchakalpatarvyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam lagayate green yat kri patamahan vande Shri Guru Dinantaranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akanda Mandalakaram Yaptayana Characharam Tatpadam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So everyone is welcome to this unit. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, 21, 22, and 23. So today we are beginning with Chapter 20. Normally the first verse, we would read the Sanskrit before we go to the translation, but the rest of the verses, we will just take the translations in order to save time. So the verse 1 says, Maitreya Ovacha, Bhagavanapi Vaikuntaha, Sakam Bhagavata Vibhuhu, Yagya Patistustau, Yagya Bhuktam Abhashataha. Translation. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, being very much satisfied by the performance of 99 horse sacrifices, the Supreme Personality of God and Lord Vishnu appeared on the scene. Accompanying him was King Indra. Lord Vishnu then began to speak. There is no purport, so we'll go to the next one. So the next one will just go straight to the translation. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of God, has said, My dear King Prithu, Indra, the King of Heaven, has disturbed your execution of 100 horse sacrifices. Now he has come with me to be forgiven by you. Therefore, excuse him. First of all, let me share my PowerPoint. You can make me a co-host so that I can share my PowerPoint.
Yes, Prabhuji, you are already co-host, Prabhuji.
Okay, a minute. Okay, so we have the slide here, which is Bhakti Vaibhav, Unit 18, Canto 4, Chapter 20. So this is what I've taken from the purport, which says the self and the super self are qualitatively non-different. It is a custom among yogis and gyanis to address one another, or even ordinary men, as oneself. For a transcendentalist never accepts a living being to be the body. Since the individual self is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self and the super self are qualitatively non-different. As the next verse will explain, the body is only a superficial covering, and consequently, an advanced transcendentalist will not make a distinction between oneself and another. So the point here is that the living entity, which is the soul, being part and parcel of the Supreme, is actually non-different from the Supreme. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita mentions Mama Ivamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Manashastani Indriyani Prakritishtani Karshati. That the living entity is eternally a fragmental part of himself. So this is a very important statement the Lord makes here. That every living entity we see with reference to the spirit, the soul, is actually a spark of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so the spark of fire is qualitatively one with this, the total fire. Whatever qualities the original fire has, the spark also has that quality. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Satchidananda Vigraha, the form of bliss, knowledge, and eternality. And similarly, the living entity also is made up of bliss, knowledge, and eternality. The difference is, in the case of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, these are unlimited. These qualities are unlimited. They're immeasurable. Whereas in the living entity, they are very limited. They are minute. So that is just the difference. In the self, same qualities are there, but in a minute form. But in the super self, which is the Supreme Lord, the super soul, those qualities are unlimited. So for a transcendentalist who has developed his spiritual vision, he can see that a living entity and the Supreme Lord are not different qualitatively. But quantitatively, there is a big difference. Just like a drop of water from the ocean has the same qualities like the ocean. It is salty, but we cannot float a boat in a drop of seawater. But a whole boat, a ship, can float in the sea or on the waters in the sea. So similarly, the living entity constitutionally is part and parcel of the Supreme, and therefore has spiritual qualities like the Lord. And that is a point that is being made here in this verse. So unless there's a question, we move on to text 3. And I would encourage students to read. Somebody can read. If you read the verse, then you also read the slide. So I would like somebody to read the text, translation of text 2, followed by the slide. Sorry, text 3. We did with text 3, followed by the slide. Somebody can read.
O king, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best amongst human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul.
Thank you. So read the slide.
The one who is devoted and highly advanced in intelligence does not take action against the soul or body. Those who are advanced in transcendental consciousness or Krishna consciousness are never envious, neither of the soul nor of the activities of the soul under the influence of material nature. Advanced transcendentalists are called Sudhiyaha. Sudhi means intelligence. Sudhi means highly advanced. And Sudhi means devotee. One who is both devoted and highly advanced in intelligence does not take action against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy, he forgives. It is said that forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, 3rd purport.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we are being told that one who is advanced in intelligence does not take action against the soul or the body. And so for a devotee who is both devoted and highly advanced intelligence, he naturally forgives. Naturally forgives. And that is why it is mentioned in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Parama Nimasharanyam. The devotee's heart is completely freed of envy. And Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita also the reasons why he spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He says, Edam tu te guyatamam pravikshyami anusuyave. Pravikshyami anusuyave. That because you are not envious of me, I shall impart unto you this confidential knowledge, knowing which you shall be relieved of all miseries of material existence. So, one who has developed intelligence, one who is making progress on the path of self-realization, he does not harbor any ill feelings. He does not envy any living entity. And even when he is offended, he is prepared to forgive. And that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the avatar for this age of Kali, he instructed us in his Shastakam prayers. Trinara pisuni chena taro apisa hisnuna amanena manadena kirtaniya sada hari. That one must be very tolerant, like a tree. One must be very humble, like a blade of grass. One must be ready to offer all respects to others without expecting any form of respect from anyone. Then one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. Kirtaniya Sada Hari. If anybody wants to chant the holy names of Krishna constantly, one wants to drink the nectar of Krishna consciousness constantly, then he has to abide by this Shishastakam slok given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu has come into this world for the purpose of distributing the nectar of Krishna consciousness. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Krishna Bhavam Ritahi Yaha Aswadyan Swadhyayam Bhaktam Preman Dikshama Shikshayat. That the main business of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is to distribute the nectar of Krishna consciousness, Krishna Bhavamritam. And for one to drink this nectar, to experience this nectar, you have to have some qualification. And what is the qualification? Trinara api sunichena taro api sahis nuna amanena manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One must be very tolerant. One must be very humble. One must be very forgiving. These are the qualities of a real Vaishnava. Because the Vaishnava, he has developed such intelligence. Because the Vaishnava is without any envy. The Vaishnava, his heart is full of compassion. One whose heart is full of envy cannot simultaneously have compassion. Compassion and envy, they don't sit in the same place. They don't live in the same place. So as soon as a heart is full of envy, there is no compassion. And as soon as a heart is full of compassion, there is no envy. So therefore, for one who is advancing on the path of Krishna consciousness, he has to eliminate this terrible quality, low quality of envy. In fact, it is said that there are 6 highway armed robbers that take away our Krishna consciousness. They are greed, lust, anger, pride, envy, illusion. There are 6 in number: Kam, Lobh. So these 6 enemies, they prevent the living entity from enjoying Krishna consciousness, from relishing Krishna consciousness. So anyone who wants to make progress on this path of Krishna consciousness must eschew, must do away with these 6 highway robbers that are taking away our wealth of Krishna consciousness. We can go into text 4. Unless there's a question, we go to text 4. Somebody can read text 4, translation and a slide.
Text 4. If a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instructions of the previous acharyas, is carried away by the influence of my material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time.
Slide.
No one can be perfect in knowledge without being trained by parampara. In this verse, the word vriddha sevaya is very significant. Vriddha means old, sevaya means by service. Perfect knowledge is acquired from the acharyas or liberated souls. No one can be perfect in knowledge without being trained by the parampara system. Prithu Maharaj was completely trained in that line. Therefore, he did not deserve to be considered an ordinary man. An ordinary man who has only a conception of bodily existence is always bewildered by the modes of material nature. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20.4.
Thank you, Mataji. So that no one can be perfect in knowledge without being trained by the parampara system. So Lord Krishna also mentions that Ivam paramparam praptam imam rajasayo vidur, that this supreme science of the Bhagavad Gita was received through the chain of disciplic succession. And the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken. And therefore, the science seems to be lost. So this discipline succession is so crucial, is so important, because it is the via medium through which transcendental knowledge is passed down from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the acharyas to the living entity. So any system where there is no discipline succession, the knowledge is bound to be lost. Even in a system, if there is a discipline succession and things are not kept carefully, they can be diluted and their value can be lost. So therefore, the Lord himself initiated this discipline succession so that this valuable knowledge can be passed down without any adulteration, without any dilution, for the benefit of all living entities. The Srimad Bhagavatam also mentions that anyone who is serious about getting some spiritual knowledge, he must approach an acharya. Tasmat gurum prapadyanta gigansu sriyam uttam sabde pare cha nishnatam brahmani upashamarashrayam. Any person interested in spiritual life, he must approach an acharya. He must approach a bona fide spiritual master. And the qualification of the spiritual master is that he must realize the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation. And he is in a position to convince others of these conclusions. So the discipline succession, initiated by the Lord himself, Lord spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma, Tene Brahma Hirdaya Adi Kavaye. The Lord spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Brahma. Brahma spoke that knowledge to Narada. Narada spoke that knowledge to Vyasa. Vyasa spoke that knowledge to Madhva, and on and on and on. This knowledge has reached us today. So it's a very old system which is meant to give spiritual education to the ordinary living entity. And Prithu Maharaj was completely trained in that line. Therefore, he cannot be considered an ordinary person. And that also holds true for all of us. Anyone who is connected to this discipline succession cannot be described as an ordinary person. Anyone who is linked to this ancient Vreda Sevaya, ancient system, cannot be considered ordinary because he is connected to the source of all knowledge, cannot be described as ordinary. So that is the good fortune we all have by becoming connected to Mahaprabhu's movement, by becoming connected to Srila Prabhupada's movement. And we should remain connected to this movement because it is established by the Lord himself to give everyone a chance to receive this knowledge and prepare his journey back home, back to Godhead. That is the mission of Srila Prabhupada. He wants to make everyone fortunate by distributing this transcendental knowledge, coming down from time immemorial, coming down from the Lord himself through various acharyas, various devotees. And we are so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has repackaged this knowledge for us in his Bhakti Vedanta purports. And our duty is simply to drink this nectar to study this nectar, apply it to our lives, and make our lives perfect. Text 5.
Hare Krishna. Those who are in
Hare
full
Krishna.
knowledge,
Go
those
ahead.
who are in full knowledge of the bodily conception of life, who know that this body is composed of nations, desires, and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. Another kind of
Slide.
illusion is to think that one will be happy by elevation to heavenly planets. Being a creation of nations, the body has two types of activities. In the bodily conception, when we think that sense gratification will help us, we are in illusion. Another kind of illusion is to think that one will become happy by trying to satisfy the desires that arise from the illusory body and by attaining elevation to the higher planetary systems, or by performing various types of Vedic rituals. This is all illusion. Similarly, material activities performed for political emancipation and social and humanitarian activities performed with an idea that people of the world will be happy are also illusory, because the basic principle is the bodily conception, which is illusory. Whatever we desire or perform under the bodily conception is all illusory.
Thank you. So the whole material environment is an environment of sense gratification. From the heavenly planet, even down to the hellish planets, they are all places where everyone is endeavoring to please the senses. So the whole material environment is contaminated by sense gratification. And because of this sense gratification, there is intense competition. Everyone is competing to become the best sense gratifier. So, but the body, which is having the senses, is temporary. So, no matter how much we try to gratify the senses, at some point in time, the body will fall apart and the senses will also fall apart. And we would feel some frustration, some disappointment. Therefore, an intelligent person does not put all his energy into the process of sense gratification. An intelligent person does not invest all his energy in pursuing sense gratification, because he knows that at some point in time, the body will disappoint. The senses will disappoint. So we want to embark on another path, a path that deals with our eternal nature, because we know that the body is not eternal. The body is acquired from the womb of our mother, and we shall drop it at the time of death. And that we see every day. Nobody has lived in this world for such a long time, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000,000 years, nobody. Minimum or maximum 100 years, we pack off. So it means the body is temporary. And so if the body is temporary and the senses are temporary, why do we have to spend so much energy on such temporary things? So therefore, the process of bhakti gives us an opportunity to spend some energy. And that is a permanent investment, because even when this body falls apart, the soul still exists. God still exists. So any investment made in those areas, there is no loss. And that is why Krishna is telling us in Bhagavad Gita that in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. There is no loss or diminution on this path of spiritual endeavors. So therefore, the devotee has a better understanding that life in this world is temporary. The body and the sense side is eternal. Let me pursue, let me engage in activity. To the Supreme. I will still continue to exist in my spiritual form, and I will continue the slide has gone off. What has happened? Slide has gone off. I have to put it back. Okay, it's in there. So that is our great opportunity, great luck, great fortune that we have been given this science of devotional service. And so we can easily give up this illusion that the whole world is pursuing. Even the idea of going to heaven is still part of the illusion, or going to hell is still part of the illusion. Anything that is connected to this material universe is part of the illusion. So the process of bhakti is meant to elevate us to a higher level of happiness, higher level of understanding, and higher level of life. That is what this process of bhakti is giving us. And therefore, everyone should be very committed to this process so that we can experience these higher dimensions of joy, which is separate from sense gratification. We can go to text 6. Unless there's a question. There's no question, we'll go to text 6. Somebody can read text 6.
Text 6. How can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, and similar other bodily productions?
Slide.
Vedic performances are based on the three modes of material nature. Rather be the sanctions of the Lord, one tries to satisfy one's own senses. In other words, materialists who are specially interested in sense gratification are given permission or license to enjoy sense gratification by executing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. That is called Triguna Vishaya Vedha. The Vedic performances are based on the three modes of material nature. Those who are elevated above the material condition are not at all interested in such Vedic performances. Rather, they are interested in the higher duties of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I can't see the slide. They're interested in the higher duties of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such devotional service is called Nistraguna. Devotional service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of bodily comfort. 4.20.6.
Thank you. I think I'm still experiencing some fluctuation of the internet. So the Vedic performances are based on the three modes of material nature. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, Trigunya Vishaya Veda, Nishtray Gunyo Bhavarajuna, Nirdwando Nitya Satwasto, Niyoga Shema Atmavam. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature, or Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So the material world is an interaction on the three modes of material nature. In fact, everything that we see in this material world is a byproduct of the three modes of material nature. The Srimad Bhagavatam tells us that the combination of the false ego ahankar with the mode of goodness creates the mind and the devatas that control the senses. And then the false ego combines with the mode of passion, creates the intelligence and many of the ingredients of the material creation, material hankering, and so on. And the modes of ignorance, tamas, combining with the false ego, creates the gross material elements, dravani. So if you look at it, you see that everything in this material creation is an interaction between the modes of material nature. So to actually escape from this material world means one has to rise above the modes of nature. Everything is hanging on the modes of nature. Everything that we do, everything we touch is made of the modes of material nature. Our body, our mind, our intelligence, the object of our senses, whatever we see is made of the three modes of material nature. But to come to the spiritual platform, one must rise above these three modes. And that is why Krishna is telling us in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita Mamchayo Vyabicharini Bhakti Yogina Sevate Sagunai Samatityatam Brahma Bhuya Kalpate. That to transcend the modes of nature, one has to engage in devotional service, Vyabhicharini Bhakti, Vyabhicharini Yoga. One has to engage in devotional service without a fall down, without deviation, constantly, regularly. Only such a person who is committed to the process of bhakti without deviation, only such a person can rise above the modes of nature. And Krishna also tells us in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Daivihi sagunamai mama maya durachaya. So these modes of nature, these 3 modes of material nature, which comprises of my material energy, is very, very difficult to overcome. So, activities that are based on sense gratification, activities that are based on the modes of material nature, has to be given up. And so it is mentioned here that devotional service is called Nistray Gunya. It's transcendental, it's above the modes. And that is what will take us out of this material world. So we need to engage in constant devotional service. We need to engage in undeviated devotional service with all determination. Then we can rise above the modes of nature. Then we become eligible to enter the spiritual sky. So that is the challenge that every living entity has in this material world. Every living entity has to face the challenges of Maya. Every living entity has to be tested by the Maya. Maya is like the examination council, the examination board that will grade everybody. So, and to pass the exam, one has to be very determined. Determination is very important in the process of bhakti. So in order to rise above these modes of material nature, one has to be very, very determined. Then one can, with the mercy of the Vaishnavas, mercy of Krishna, transcend these modes by engaging in constant devotional service. If there is any comment or question, you are welcome. Otherwise, we move on to text 7. Somebody can read text 7?
The individual soul is one, pure, non-material, and self-effulgent. He is the reservoir of all good qualities, and he is all-pervading. He is without material covering, and he is the witness of all activities. He is completely distinguished from other living entities, and he is transcendental to all embodied souls. The living,
Slide.
the, the living entities being contaminated by the modes of material nature are called saguna. As confirmed in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam Chetanash Chetananam. The living entities who are many and who are entangled in the material world are not pure. However, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pure and detached. Due to being covered by the material body, the living entities are not self-effulgent, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, is self-effulgent. The living entities being contaminated by the modes of material nature are called saguna, whereas Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is niguna, not being under the influence of the material modes. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto Chapter 20, Text 7 purport.
Yeah, so the living entities are contaminated. They are contaminated by the modes of nature. and they are called Saguna. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is never touched by the modes of nature. Therefore, he is called Nirguna. Nirguna means he is never, it never comes under the modes of nature. He is transcendental to the modes of material nature. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Harihi Nirguna Shakshat, Purusha Prakrite Paraha, Sa Sarvadrik Upadrasta Tamba Yam Nirguna Bhavet. That the Supreme Lord is always on the transcendental plane. Harihi Nirguna Shakshat. The Supreme Lord is always situated in transcendence, far beyond the material energy. Prakrite Paraha. And anyone who is connected to the Supreme Lord via the medium of devotional service, Tamba Jam Nirguna Bhavet, such a person also becomes Nirguna. Just like iron filings, by associating with a magnet, become polarized. They become, say, charged with the energy of the magnet. Or an iron bar being placed in an oven acquires fiery qualities. Similarly, any living entity that is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead via the medium of devotional service, he also acquires the transcendental nature of the Lord. That is what devotional service is meant to do for us. By constantly engaging in devotional service and Krishna consciousness, we also acquire the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So that is the easiest way to transcend the modes, by rendering service to the Supreme Lord, by keeping in touch with the Supreme Lord. And that is easily done when we chant the holy names of Krishna. The holy names of Krishna are not different from Krishna. And so by our chanting of the holy name, by our constant chanting of the holy name, we are associating with Krishna. And by such association, we are becoming transcendental because we are in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Nirguna, who is transcendental. So the more we associate with the transcendental realm, with the transcendental personality, with the transcendental qualities, the more we are also influenced by these transcendental attributes of the Lord. So the process of bhakti means associating with the Supreme Lord through the process of devotional life. So the more we are engaged in activities for Krishna's pleasure, the more we are associating with the Lord, and the more we acquire the nirguna nature of the Lord, the transcendental nature of the Lord. That is the benefit of rendering devotional service to Krishna. Text 8.
Although within the material world, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of the Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for he is always situated in my transcendental loving service. Those connected within the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not affected by the material qualities. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this material world, he is not affected by the modes of material nature. Similarly, those who are always connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though they be within the material body or the material world, are not affected by the material qualities. In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if a person is always engaged in the service of the Lord with his body, words, and mind, he is to be considered liberated, although living in the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 20th chapter, 8th part.
Thank you. So those who are connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not affected by the three modes of material nature. So that is a fact. And we have been experiencing it from time to time. Anytime we do our japa very nicely, we can feel the aloofness. We feel aloof from material nature. Anytime we give very nice oral reception, we listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita very attentively, we can feel the effect of such hearing. Anytime we do some very nice preaching, some nice service, immediately we can feel the transcendental nature of that activity. So it is a fact that simply by engaging in Krishna's service, it is a fact that simply by chanting Krishna's names, it is a fact that simply by hearing Krishna's pastimes, we are associating with a transcendental entity. We are associating with a divine plane, and therefore the modes of material nature do not have the power to influence us. So the secret is, the more we are connected to Krishna, the more we are connected to the process of bhakti, the more we are actively engaged in Krishna's service, the more we are free from the three modes of material nature. Because the Lord is nirguna. Devotional service is also nirguna. And anyone who is engaged in such activity automatically will also become nirguna. So that is the secret. The more we are
You are mute, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, request you to unmute yourself, please.
material nature has no grip on anyone who is connected to Krishna. Tamba Yamdriguna Bhavet. Anyone who is connected to the transcendental Lord also becomes aloof from material nature, aloof from the three modes of material nature. So this process that Srila Prabhupada has given us, this process that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made available in this age, is a very powerful process. And anyone who takes to it seriously will transcend the three modes of nature, and he will become jolly, you become happy. Text.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
Prabhuji, as you said that if we engage in the devotional service, then we aloof the modes of material nature. But being in a grahast ashram, okay, sometimes we are in the association of devotees and we are chanting. So I also feel that we are connected to Krishna. But many times it happens that we are in the like if we are doing a job or if we are serving our children or these things like related to our house and like our relatives and everything, if we are serving them. So I mean, at that time, I don't think that we feel that we are aloof of these modes of material nature, but I feel that we are into this material, I mean, modes of material nature, sometime in mode of ignorance and sometimes in mode of passion. So I mean,
my answer is that we should extend our devotional service into every aspect of our lives. We should not just think when we associate with devotees, then we perform devotional service, and when we are no more in the association of devotees, we are no more performing devotional service. In fact, for a devotee, whatever you are doing in your life, you should understand it is connected to Krishna. Whether it is your job, whether it is taking care of the children, family members, family responsibility, whatever it is, we can always do it in the mode of service. For instance, if you are a worker, before you go to work, you make sure you chant your rounds. Rise a bit early, at least an hour before you go to work. You spiritualize your mind. You spiritualize your day before you go to work. You would notice that at the office, because you've performed some sadhanas before coming to work, you are different. Krishna is your foundation. So even when people try to agitate your mind, people try to disturb you, because of your connection from the strong sadhanas you perform in the morning, you remain aloof. Similarly, in your household duties, always see your children, your husband, family members, see them as Krishna's devotees. You are just a caretaker. You are just playing your role to take care of them on behalf of Krishna. And so, if you think like this and act like this, there is no question of saying that those activities are not devotional activities. They are. If we see that those activities we are performing are connected to Krishna, connected to Guru, then we can still feel the same spiritual connection even at work. And then, of course, it is said that whatever work we are doing, part of the result should also be used for the expansion of the preaching. It should be used to support the service of the Lord. So all of these activities will connect us to the process, and we will feel the bliss of devotional service even at home. We will feel the bliss of devotional service even at the office. We will feel the bliss of devotional service even outside of the temple. because we are acting in the consciousness of a devotee at all times. We should not separate our duties from devotional service. We should see that these duties are given to us by Krishna, and we are supposed to execute them for the pleasure of Krishna. And if we think like this, then we can extend our devotional experiences to whatever we are doing, and we will always remain connected. I had a devotee, he had just passed away, but I used to go to his house in the morning. He's a quantity surveyor, an engineer. He will not come out of his room until he has finished his japa. He wakes about 4 o'clock, and until 7 o'clock in the morning, he will not come out. He will take his bath, and he will just concentrate and chant all his rounds. Even his Gayatri mantra, morning, afternoon, evening, he will chant all of them in the morning before he comes out. Because he says, when I go to the office, there is so much up and down, I wouldn't have time to chant. So he performs all his sadhanas at home. And he tells me, he said, Prabhu, I always feel very happy, even when I go to work. I can remember the chanting I've done this morning, and I remain aloof from the activities of the office. So we can always connect whatever we are doing to devotional service by our strong sadhana, and that will keep us afloat from the influence of Maya. I hope that answers your question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. It's a wonderful explanation. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. So let's move on to text 9, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 9 translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, continued, My dear King Prithu, when one situated in his occupational duty engages in my loving service without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within. Slide. The purpose of all activities is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is situated in his occupational duty, but the purpose of material occupation should not be material gain. Rather, everyone should offer the results of his occupational activities. A Brahman especially should execute his occupational duties not for material gain, but to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra should work in a similar way. In this material world, everyone is engaged in various professional and occupational duties, but the purpose of such activities should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotional service is very simple and anyone can adopt it. Let one remain what he is. He need only install the deity of the Supreme Lord in his house. 4.20.9.
Thank you. So this supports what I just said, that it doesn't matter where we find ourselves. We can always connect it to Krishna consciousness. The first principle is Savam Pumsha Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktira Doksajay, that everyone is meant to serve Krishna. That's our real position. Every living entity we see in this world, our real occupational duty is service to the Lord. But somehow, due to the influence of Maya, due to the influence of material energy, the living entity has forgotten. And we think that the activities of this world are our main activities. They are simply temporary activities that can change from time to time, change from place to place, change from body to body, from universe to universe. But our real occupational duty is bhakti, devotional service to Krishna. So when such devotional service is unmotivated and uninterrupted, it pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that pleases the self. That satisfies us. We are all hankering for pleasure. Actually, that is the principle. The motivation for every living entity's activities is pleasure. Without pleasure, no one would engage in any activity. Even the materialists, they are working very hard because they think they can earn some money, some income, and with that, they can facilitate their sense enjoyment. So the main motivation is pleasure, happiness, joy. But the devotee, he actually gains a better level of enjoyment. He has the chance to experience an unending pleasure. He has a chance to experience a pleasure that does not end, that does not come to an end. So that is what we have before us. We have such a valuable gift of nectar, devotional service that can keep us happy for the rest of this life, and that can keep us happy for the rest of our existence. That is actually our birthright. Our birthright is transcendental pleasure. Krishna is experiencing unlimited pleasure, and the living entities as well are supposed to experience that unlimited pleasure. But when the living entity detaches itself from the Supreme, then he has to encounter the temporary pleasure of Maya, Maya Shuka. So this process of bhakti gives us the opportunity to again engage in Krishna consciousness. And this activity of devotional service can satisfy the soul completely because it satisfies Krishna. So we are in a good position. We are properly connected. We should never give up the process. No matter how difficult things are, no matter the challenges that we are facing, we should never give it up because we have embarked on a very, very wonderful path, a path that will take us to a different dimension of happiness, and that is the Krishna conscious happiness. So let us keep pushing, keep moving, don't look back. And Krishna is awaiting to bless us with his mercy. It is said, Krishna, it said Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa, Bhakti Swabhava. Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa, Bhakti Swabhava. That by the association of devotees, Sadhu Sangha, one gets Krishna's mercy, Krishna Kripa. And by getting Krishna Kripa, Krishna's mercy, one can become situated in the process of bhakti. So, but first of all, we need association of devotees. That Srila Prabhupada has provided. Srila Prabhupada has given us this movement to facilitate our devotional service in association of other devotees. And so long as we are taking advantage of this association, Krishna will meet us. Krishna will show us his mercy. And once we receive Krishna's mercy, then automatically it becomes easier to practice bhakti. So we just keep going, just keep pushing. Krishna is waiting. Krishna is observing. Krishna is monitoring. And at the right time, he would give us his mercy. And once we receive the mercy, it becomes much easier to practice Krishna consciousness. Text 10.
When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands he is an eternal servitor of the Supreme. The Mayavada conception of Kaivalya and that of the Vaishnava community is different. The Mayavadi thinks that as soon as one is free from all material contamination, he is merged into the existence of the Supreme. The Vaishnava philosopher's conception of Kaivalya is different. He understands both his position and the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is the eternal servitor. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme, and that is called Brahman realization. And then I'm unable to read because there is no slide.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Because of network issue, Prabhu is not in.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, you're hearing me. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So I think you have read it 10, eh? We're on a 10. Right?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Then in uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands he is an eternal supreme. Okay. So Atmatatwa avobodena. Atmatatwa avobodena means finding one's real constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Supreme. That is our goal, to understand our relationship with the Supreme. And that comes when the contamination is reduced. So long as the contamination is high, it is difficult to understand our real position. So removing the contamination means taking the holy name very seriously. Charito Darpanama Janam, Lord Chaitanya has said that the dust accumulated in the mind and in the heart for millions of births is very thick. And the only way dust in the mind and the heart is to constitute the holy name. So this process of hearing is very powerful. And the more it is done consistently, the more it is easier to remove the dust, to remove the contamination that has accumulated for many, many lives. So And once that contamination is removed, then one can easily understand his position as dasa, dasa, anudasa. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. Every living entity is eternally Krishna's servant. But in our conditioned state, we do not see ourselves as Krishna's servants. We see ourselves as enjoyers. Actually, we compete with Krishna. We are competitors to the Supreme Lord. And that is the problem. So the process of bhakti is to again reverse the situation. The process of bhakti is to bring us back to our original position of becoming servants of Krishna. So that is Kaivalya. For the Mayavadis, they think as soon as they are free from contamination, they will merge with the Supreme. But for a devotee, we are thinking, how can we become better servants? So the becoming a servant of the Supreme Lord, engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord, this is the real kaivalya, the real liberation. Because after liberation, then what? So for the Mayavadis, after liberation, they become dormant. And that is why they fall down. But for a devotee, after liberation, one is engaged, actively engaged in the service of the Lord. And therefore, one does not fall down. So in our purified stage of life, we can easily understand that we are servants of Krishna. And that is our goal. We want to understand that. We want to experience that. We want to live that life of service, constant service to Krishna, because we understand that this service brings joy to the living entity. It brings joy. So that is the difference between the Mayavadis and the devotees. Mayavadis are thinking, once I'm free from contamination, that's it, I merge with the Supreme. But the devotee is thinking, once I'm free from contamination, I engage in the service of the Lord. So that is the difference. A devotee wants to engage in the service of the Lord, but the Mayavadis wants to merge with the Supreme Lord. So we want to remain active in Krishna's service. We want to remain active in glorifying the Lord. We want to remain active in serving the Lord. And that activity brings joy to the soul. So there is activity after liberation for a devotee, because the devotee falls back into his natural service attitude. He falls back into his natural environment of devotional service. And so he feels much more happier. So devotional service is meant to make us happy. So and therefore, everyone has to endeavor to engage in devotional service, because that is what will make us happy. Text 11.
Anyone who knows that this material body made of 5 gross elements, the sense organs, the working senses,
I
and
can
the
read.
mind is simply supervised by the fixed soul is eligible to be liberated from material bondage. Am I audible? The practical process to attain the stage of indifference is to
Right.
execute devotional service. One should therefore not be disturbed by the actions and reactions of these 8 gross and subtle material elements. The practical process to attain this stage of indifference is to execute devotional service. Only one who constantly engages in devotional service 24 hours a day can be indifferent to the action and reaction of the external body. When a man is absorbed in a particular thought, he does not hear or see any external activities, even though they are enacted in his presence. Similarly, those who are fully absorbed in devotional service do not care what is going on with the external body. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, 11th verse. Perfect.
Thank you. Satwam Chabijayat Yukto Narapekshena Santandihi Sampadyate Gunai Mukto Jivo Jivam Vihayamam. Being fixed in devotional service, one can conquer the material modes of goodness by indifference towards these modes. Thus pacified within his mind, the soul, freed from the modes of nature, gives up the very cause of his conditioned life and attains a blissful existence in the service of the Lord. So the process of becoming indifferent is to engage in uninterrupted devotional service. The process of freeing oneself from the modes of nature is for the soul to be totally connected to the spiritual activities of devotional service. Once the soul is connected to the process of devotional service, when the soul is absorbed in activities of bhakti, then whatever is happening around, he becomes oblivious to those things happening. So the practical process to attain the stage of indifference is to execute devotional service. And that is true. We have seen through the ages, we have seen many examples that simply by becoming absorbed in the Lord's service, the devotee, it becomes oblivious of its environment. So that is the medicine for overcoming the influence of the external energy, Maya. Maya will always try to interfere with our service, with our relationships, with our activities. But if our focus, if we are absorbed in our service, we are absorbed in our hearing, we are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, we will not feel the effect of Maya's activities. So this process is very potent, is very powerful. It is bona fide that simply by becoming absorbed in the activities of bhakti, one can transcend the modes of nature. One can transcend material energy. One can rise above the ordinary way of doing things. And we have seen that many devotees have transcended simply by taking to the process of bhakti. Especially in Kali Yuga, it is said the process of bhakti is most potent in Kali Yuga. No other process is so potent like bhakti. In fact, for people to practice Gyan, they have to add some bhakti. For people to practice yoga, they have to add some bhakti. Whatever activities are going on, some bhakti has to be added if one wants to succeed. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, the process of bhakti is very, very powerful. And that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered this process of bhakti to us in this age of Kali, being the Yuga avatar. And we follow the example, we follow the process that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, we can transcend the modes of material nature. And we see that in Mahaprabhu's life, all day he's engaged in Harinam with a large number of devotees during the day. Then at night, Mahaprabhu would engage the very intimate ones in a special kirtan in Srivas Angam. So day and night, Mahaprabhu was engaged in activities of kirtan. So similar transcend all here. And we just take this kirtan very, very seriously because it is the Yugadam. It is the process by which the living entities in Kali Yuga can transcend the modes of nature. So to the degree that we practice this Harinam Sankirtan, we practice the holy name, Krishna's names, to that degree, we can become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. We can go to text 12.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I ask one question, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Prabhuji, sometime what happens like if I have seen like when I'm engaged in services, then it is good. But sometimes then at that time I don't much give importance or like time to the body to maintain the body. So body gets affected. But when I give time to health, as Prabhupada says, the health sadhana seva. But when I give time to my body, to my health, then what happens like I don't feel that the pleasure which I feel when I'm very much engaged in the services. So how to balance it? Like,
Yes, the body is an instrument. Srila Prabhupada said that without good health, there cannot be strong sadhana. Sadhana is based on good health. If your body is giving you trouble, if you're sick, if your body is not properly maintained, then it also affects your sadhana. So therefore, we should see the maintenance of the body, the care of the body, as a foundation, as a means of practicing good sadhana. If you are hungry, you can chant Hare Krishna. If you are sick, you can chant Hare Krishna. You can render your service. So therefore, we should see that the body is an instrument and we must keep it healthy to enable us perform our sadhanas. So, of course, if you are taking care of the body with the mindset that I am taking care of this body so that I can serve Krishna with it. If you are thinking like this while taking care of the body, then you are also connecting the body to Krishna. You will still feel the same joy because you are taking care of Krishna's body. You are taking care of an instrument that can be used in Krishna's service. And so if you think like this, then you will still feel the joy of devotional service. But if you are thinking, let me take care of my body so that I can, do something different, then you may be feeling some distraction or disconnection from the process of bhakti. But while taking care of the body, our mindset should be, this body belongs to Krishna, this body belongs to Guru, this body belongs to Sripad, and I have to maintain it properly so that I can render some service. So if you are thinking like this, then you can still experience some joy in taking care of the body because you ask devotional service. Is that okay?
Thank you so much.
Does that answer your question or not?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
Prabhu.
the balance is seeing the body as an instrument for devotional service. And if you maintain it properly, it can help you to execute your service. If you don't maintain it, it can be an obstacle. So therefore, the maintenance of the body is not Maya. It is part of the Bhakti process. That is the way we should see it. That is the balance. Seeing the body, seeing our family, seeing our job, seeing everything around us as Krishna's offer, Krishna's gift for his service. So we should connect everything to Krishna, connect everything to devotional service. Then there is a good balance.
Oh, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Text
Prabhuji, can
12.
Lord Vishnu told King Prithu,
Yes.
my
You have
dear
another
king,
question? Go ahead.
my dear king, the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of three modes of material nature: the five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul. All these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from the combination of gross and subtle material elements, my devotee who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. A devotee position is transcendental because of
Slide.
his intimate relationship with the Supreme Lord. The word Badh Sohridah, bound in friendship, is particularly used here. Karmis, Gyanis, and Yogis cannot be bound in devotional service. Karmis fully engage in the activities of the body. Their aim of life is to give comfort to the body only. Gyanis try to get out of entanglement by philosophical speculation, but they have no standing in the liberated position because they do not take shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. They fall down from the exalted position of Brahman realization. A devotee's position is always transcendental because of his intimate relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, to remain always aloof from the actions and reactions of the body and engage in one's real occupation, namely rendering service to the Lord, can be possible only for devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, 20th chapter, verse 12. Purport.
Thank you. So the devotee is in a safer position because of his connection to the Supreme Lord. Samprasane Bhagavati Purusha Prakriti Gunai Vimukta Jiva Nimukta Brahma Nirvana Richati. The process of becoming free from the most material nature is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that one should try to satisfy Supreme Personality. Anyone who is able to satisfy the Supremacy of God during one's life becomes liberated from both gross and subtle bodies, conditions of life. And thus, being free from these subtle conditions, he achieves unlimited spiritual bliss. So the secret is how to please the superstar of God. So there's the good and the youth. They do not know how to please the Supreme Personality of God because they are not connected. Their activities The karma is about their body, the jnani. They want mystic power, they want to visualize, they don't want to render service. But a devotee, from the very onset, even a neophyte devotee, Lord, by chanting the devotional service begins hearing, hearing, chanting, and remembering. These are described as activities of devotional service. So even just as devotees participate, sitting in a devotee is already rendering some devotional service. And the Lord is pleased to see a devotee hearing, participating in activities, preaching, and so on. And the Lord reciprocates. The Lord will reward such a devotee. So therefore, the devotee is in a better position than all of these other practitioners, because the devotee's aim is to please the Lord. And the Lord reciprocates with such a devotee by giving the devotee taste, by giving the devotee life. So, devotional service, satisfying the Supreme Lord through the process of devotional service, is the secret by which one can remain in a transcendental position. So we should always endeavor to satisfy the Supreme Lord. We should always endeavor to please Krishna. What does Krishna want? And we act on what Krishna wants. And give it. Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells us things he wants. And by studying Bhagavad Gita, we should just execute that. And that will be pleasing to Krishna. When it's Krishna, Krishna reciprocates devotee. And when Krishna reciprocates with a devotee, the devotee receives encouragement from Krishna. The devotee receives happiness, joy in serving the Lord. So devotional service is certainly better than activities of yoga, because devotional service links one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 13, unless there's a question.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
13.
Prabhuji, can I ask question?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Prabhuji, it was related to previous verse. It always comes in my mind
Yes.
when we read NOD, there are 64 limbs of devotional service we read. There is nothing in the explanation. Prabhupada never wrote a Grasta ashram in that. So Grasta, I always think like there is no Grasta ashram, nothing is there. So but people get into the Grasta ashram and do all the activities. And as you said that if we should see everything related to Krishna and this way. But I was thinking like there are I mean like there are few devotees in their home. They are not all the time there. All the family members are also devotees. So how they see the service they do to those souls as a devotee?
Yes. See, the fact that we are engaged in Krishna's service, whether all of our family members or some of them are devotees or not, and yet that are associating with us, they are also gaining. For instance, if you are working in an office and they know you as a Hare Krishna devotee, So when you are coming, maybe you are wearing some tilak or neck beads, kantimala, you remind them, you remind your fellow workers that you are a devotee of Krishna. And even some of them may even connect you, they say, hey, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Ji. So by association, you are influencing everyone in your invention. Similarly, in the family home, if everybody is not a devotee, but they know that you are a devotee of Krishna, so when they are discussing, oh, this Prabhu Matanji is a Hare Krishna, he doesn't eat meat, he doesn't eat fish, he doesn't do. So by discussing these things, they are also becoming devotees. And what to speak of, if they appreciate what you are doing, participate in what you are doing, you are all of them come to the transcendental platform. So there may be some people who are against, I may not even us, but somehow they're benefiting because they're associating with us. Wherever a devotee lives, his activities influence everyone, whether they accept it or not. Just by seeing, the scripture says, just by seeing, just by hearing, come close to a devotee, there is immense benefit. So they may not impact, but by that association, gradually devotees in their life. You've already taken their lives auspicious, whether they like or not. They are benefiting your close association. They are benefiting actors. They are benefiting seeing you. They are benefiting just by talking to you. They benefit. And in this life, they may not become full devotees, but in their next life, also your association, they will come to the platform. So don't worry, just continue with your devotional. Those who are favorable, assist the favorable. Don't hate them. Just pray for the Christian. Please enter their hearts and let them become favorable by your in their next lives. They will all come to the platform of devotional. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Prabhuji. Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, it took 10
You
years
can ask
for...
one more question, Matt.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It took more than 10 years to my parents to start chanting 16 rounds. So now, but they are chanting the rounds, but they are not surrendered to Srila
Good.
Prabhupada. But they are not surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. So I have, what should I do that they
Mhm.
they you know they starts they they I want them to surrender to Srila Prabhupada, because we are connected to ISKCON because of Srila Prabhupada, and everything for us everything is because of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is everything for us. So if you can please suggest something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you have made it. You have achieved some great result by influencing them to chant. Some people are not able to influence their parents. So if your parents are chanting, then you have made a great achievement. Now, the next stage is that you and become full Krishna consciousness. But if that is, just keep praying to Krishna in the heart of every. And so you thank Krishna, my dear Krishna, thank you very much for influence to, but I want them to take Diksha. I want them to become off. So this to the heart of everyone as super soul. Please guide them, them with accepting the Diksha lifetime so that their life can become precious. So keep praying to Krishna to help them from within. Krishna will do the miracle. Krishna will perform the miracle. Our only position is to wish for them, to wish good for them, and to intervene. And with time, you will see the miracle happening. The fact that they are already chanting indicates that Krishna is already playing the game. So just keep praying, keep chanting, keep setting good examples, and then keep inspiring them. Gradually, they will come to that platform. Is that okay?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
So text 13. My dear heroic king, please keep yourself always equipoised and treat people equally, whether they agree with you in the disturbed by temporary distress or happiness. Fully control your mind. In this position, try to execute your duty, king, by my arrangement. For your only duty here is to keep the slide says receiving and carrying out the order when the whether receiving it directly from him or from his bona fide representative, spiritual master. Arjuna fought the battle of director of the Supreme Personality of God. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj is also being given orders by Lord Viva regarding duty. We have to stick to the principle in the Bhagavad Gita. Vyavaya samika buddhi. Every man's duty is received from the Lord Krishna or from his bona fide representative and take these orders as life and soul without personal considerations. So this is the principle of devotional service, that we receive the order and we immediately execute that order. Of course, somebody may say, Arjuna was fortunate to have in front of giving orders, or Prithu Maharaj was said to have not been in front of him. But in our case, where is Krishna to give us orders? So it is that one can take orders from the representative, and that representative is the spiritual master. So because the spiritual master's desire is to execute Krishna's order, he engages the disciples and everyone he comes in touch in the same order. Krishna says we should surrender unto him. Sarva dharma parityajya. And the spiritual master says surrender to Krishna. So there is no difference. So carrying the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without any personal consideration is the sign of one who wants to escape this material world. Anyone who wants to escape this material world must accept the order of his superiors. Seriously, he must accept the order of Krishna or Krishna's representative. He must accept those and carry them out seriously. Srila Prabhupada is an example. When Srila Prabhupada met Srila Bhakti Siddhanta in 1922, immediately Srila Bhakti Siddhanta told Srila that now that you are educated in the English language, you should go west and preach, and you should publish books. So it took Prabhupada many years to meditate and prepare for this instruction. But eventually, Srila Prabhupada carried out the instruction, and as a result, it became a consciousness. Is better by Srila Prabhupada's actions, spreading Krishna consciousness under the order of his Guru Maharaj. So, Krishna's order is executed by the spiritual master. And the senior, they assist the spiritual master in executing present or his in the Bhagavad Gita. The duty of the devotee is to carry out those under the guidance of the spiritual master. So therefore, here I said, one has to execute order without any personal relation. That is the sign that one is prepared to leave this material world. When the orders are given, Lord, by Guru, and we accept those orders on our heads, and we execute them without delay, then is a sign that we are prepared to get out of this material world. So every devotee must perform some service under the direction of the spiritual master, understanding that this service is for Krishna. And by such activity, one becomes transcendentally situated. Text 14.
To give protection to general mass of people who are citizens of the state is prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of the state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens, and in exchange for his not giving protection he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. If a king is able to induce the citizens to become Krishna conscious, he is
Right.
worthy to rule. An executive head should not be callous to the welfare of the general mass of people while he simply goes on collecting taxes. The king's
Hello.
real duty is to see that the citizens gradually become fully Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means completely free from all sinful activities. As soon as there is complete eradication of sinful activities in the state, then there will be no more war, pestilence, famine, or natural disturbances. This was actually prevailing during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira. If a king or a head of the government is able to induce the citizens to become Krishna conscious, then he is the worthy to rule over the mass of people. Otherwise, he has no right to levy taxes. If the king looks after the spiritual interests of the citizens, he can levy taxes without difficulties. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, verse 14, Popat.
Thank you. So the king has a responsibility to the citizens, just as the citizens have a responsibility towards the king. If a king is a pious king and he leaves the citizens, is entitled to this 1/6 of the credit citizen. And that is a great credit. If you have 1,000,000 people, 1/6 of the activities pious and go to the. On the contrary, king, God is the guidance, and the citizens become wayward, then the king will suffer the actions of the citizens as well. So there is an intimate connection between the king and of the citizens. The king has to become a devout. The king has to be religious. The king has to be righteous. The king has to be about duty. Then to suffer. Vasudevi Bhagavati Tad Bhakti Shucha Sadusu Prapto Bhavam Param Vishwam Ye Nadam Lushtravat Smritam. Maharaj Ambarish was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, and of the saintly persons who are the Lord's devotees. Because of this, his devotion, he thought of the entire universe as being insignificant, as a piece of stone. In other words, Ambarish Maharaj was such a great devotee. He was so devoted to the service of the Lord that he was ready to serve every saintly person. He wanted to render service to every saintly person. He treated every saintly person very nicely. He treated his citizens very nicely. And therefore, he became so exalted, so advanced, so detached to his environment that he saw the entire universe as an insignificant, as a piece of stone. In other words, as one becomes more and more advanced in Krishna consciousness, the more one loses value for this material world. So Ambarish Maharaj was such a devotee, even though a king is accustomed to opulence. That is natural, because entitled to a percentage of all the property of the citizens. But because of his advanced position, he did not even consider that as good as a stone. So the issue here is the king must himself become a devotee. Ambarish Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, and many other great kings. They are examples of what it takes to be a king, a devotee king. Only such devotee kings, they can please the citizens, and they can please the Supreme Lord, and they can set good example for all, and they can actually lead everyone out of the material world. That is what we need. Exemplary, religious, spiritually minded kings who are devotees themselves and who influence the whole population to become devotees of Krishna. Then the king is said to be looking after the interest of the citizens. And so if he takes taxes, there is no reaction to those taxes. But if the king is an atheist, if the king is not a devotee, and he's simply interested in collecting taxes just to enjoy the result of those taxes, then he has to carry the reactions of the citizens on his head in his next life. And that is a very dangerous situation. So Prithu Maharaj was such an exalted king. He was such a religious king. He was such a devotee king that even now, King Lord Vishnu has descended on his sacrificial arena. Lord Vishnu has come down to give him darshan in his sacrificial arena. And that proves that King Prithu is very exalted, that the Supreme Lord has to visit him while he was performing his yajna. Text 15.
Lord Vishnu
Lord Vishnu
continued,
continued.
My dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahman authorities, as they are received by the disciplic succession by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoctions, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. And very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar. Slide. Sanat Goswami and
Slide.
Sanatan Goswami and Rup Goswami have given us rules and regulations for becoming pure devotees. There is a specific purpose in mentioning herein that one should follow the Dvij Agrayas, the most prominent Brahmanas like Parashara and Manu. These great sages have already given us instructions on how to live according to the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Similarly, Sanatan Goswami and Rup Goswami have given us rules and regulations for becoming pure devotees of the Lord. It is essential, therefore, to follow the instructions of the Acharyas in the Parampara system, who have received the knowledge as passed down from spiritual master to disciple. In this way, although living in our material condition of life, we can get out of the entanglement of material contamination without leaving our positions. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20.15. Perfect.
Thank you. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sanatana Kripaya Painu Bhaktira Siddhanta Shri Rupa Kripaya Painu Bhakti Rasa Prantaha. By the mercy of Sanatana Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service. And by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. So Sanatana Goswami is the teacher of the science of devotional service, and he wrote many books for our guidance. Chief among his books are the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, which is very famous in describing the science of devotional service. And anyone who wants to understand the science of devotional service and Krishna and his associates, Sanatana Goswami has given us the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Sanatana Goswami has also written a particular book which is called the Hari Bhakti Vilas. This Hari Bhakti Vilas is a guide, it's like a manual for all devotees, Vaishnavas, householder Vaishnavas, householder brahmacharis, householder vanaprasthas, householder sannyasis. But of course, it is said that for the householders, they should actually read this Hari Bhakti Vilas, because it describes the method of worship, it describes how one can make home a spiritual place. So Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, they have given us a process by which we can become pure devotees. In fact, Raghunath Das Goswami also writes, Varagya yuk bhakti rasam prayatnai apayayam mam abhishum andam. I was unwilling to drink the nectar of devotional service, possessed of renunciation. But Sanatana Goswami, out of his costless mercy, forced me to drink it. And even though I was otherwise unready, out of his mercy, he delivered that mercy unto me. He's a very compassionate personality to fallen souls like me. And thus it is my duty to offer all respects unto the lotus feet of Srila Sanatana Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami. So these exalted Vaishnavas, we all know that they were big ministers in the Shah government, the Muslim governor, Hussein Shah. But when they met Lord Chaitanya, they immediately gave up their exalted positions and they became mendicants, living very simple lives in Vrindavan, just to execute the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said that the Vrindavan we see today is actually a rediscovered Vrindavan by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, under the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these two devotees, they have actually created such facilities for our progress in Krishna consciousness by writing so many literatures and by rediscovering the pastime places of Krishna, Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. And so they have actually given us a process by which we can all become pure devotees. And if we follow the instructions, we read their books and take the instructions to heart, certainly we shall all become pure Vaishnavas because their instructions are meant to make everyone a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 16.
My dear king, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus am very favorably inclined towards you. You may therefore ask me any benediction you like. One who does not possesses elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. The Lord is pleased by the elevated character and behavior of a devotee. Lord Vishnu was very pleased with Maharaj Prithu's good character and behavior and offered him a benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices and undergoing the austerities of mystic yoga practice cannot satisfy him. He is pleased only by elevated character and behavior, but these cannot develop unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. Anyone who has developed unalloyed, unflinching devotional service unto the Lord develops his original good qualities as a spirit soul. The spirit soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and has all the good qualities of the Lord. When the spirit soul is contaminated by the material modes of nature, one is considered good or bad with reference to the material qualities. But when one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come out. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text.
Thank you. So the Lord is pleased by the elevated character and behavior of a devotee. Varam vinidvam badramvo yuyam me nripa nandanaha sohiridane pritak dharmas tuham sohiridena vaha. My dear sons of the king, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships amongst you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish all of you would ask me for this. So it is interesting that the Lord is attracted by the good behavior of a devotee. The Lord is attracted by the good character of a devotee. So much so that the Lord is always prepared to give benedictions, to give
Prabhuji request you to please unmute yourself.
Can't hear.
Prabhuji, beg forgiveness, we are not able to hear you. Your mic is unmuted, but we are not able to hear you.
this.
Yes,
So I
now
was
audible.
saying that the Lord is, the Lord drifts towards a devotee who develops high quality character. The Lord drifts towards a devotee who relates to others very nicely. The Lord drifts towards a devotee who treats everyone very nicely. As we can see here, that telling, am I not audible? What is happening?
Yes,
It's okay.
yes. Yes, now.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, we are able to hear you,
Serious.
Prabhuji.
What I was
Now.
saying yesterday.
Yes, now we are able to hear you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
What is happening? Hare Krishna.
Yes, we are able to hear you, Prabhuji.
It's okay now.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So, all right. So I was saying, okay. So I was saying that the Lord is observing. Okay, thank you. The Lord is observing each and every one of us, how we are relating to each other, how we are performing our services. The Lord is observing. And then when he sees that we are developing good qualities, we are developing high characters, we are relating to everyone very nicely, we are treating everybody equally, Krishna becomes happy, and Krishna will give us a benediction, just as he's telling the sons of the Pracheta, the sons of Prachina Barisa, the Prachetas, or he's telling King Prithu that because of his good behavior, he can ask any benediction. So when we behave nicely, when we treat others nicely, when we conduct ourselves nicely, Krishna is watching Krishna is monitoring, and Krishna will benefit, will bless us to be able to execute devotional service much more easily. So we must be conscious of the fact that Krishna is always monitoring the activities of the devotees, and accordingly, Krishna awards them or rewards them. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam statai vabhajami aham. Krishna is always eager to reward his devotees according to their character, according to their behavior, according to their devotion, according to their dedication. So Krishna is monitoring this, and so we have to be conscious of this. (17)
The great Saint Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, in this way Maharaj Prithu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme
Read the
Personality of
great
the
saint
Godhead on his head.
continue, my dear Vidura, in this way, Maharaj Prithu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. Purport on the slide, anything spoken by the Personality of Godhead should be taken with great care, attention, and respect. One should accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by bowing down at the lotus feet Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, my internet is. Hare Krishna, are you hearing me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are hearing you. You are audible.
You are hearing me? You are
Yes,
hearing
yes,
me?
Prabhu. Yes.
Okay. I think I've lost the you have to make me a co-host to share the slides. Whoever is hosting, I am not allowed to share my slides, so please.
Hare Krishna, Rasaman Prabhuji, I think you have become a host by default because Rukmani Harisevani Mataji also lost her connection. Okay, she is back now. Mataji is here.
Oh, it says that host and she's back.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
Mataji.
so sorry, Prabhuji. My internet got unstable. Yes.
Okay. So you can share make me a co-host so that I can. Of course,
Yes,
our
yes, I
time
have.
is
Yes,
up.
yes.
Is
Yes, yes, I have made you co-host, yes, Prabhuji.
we lost 30 minutes. Now is I think it's 9 o'clock Indian time, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
It's 9 o'clock. Can we go for another 30 minutes because of the 30 minutes we lost? Or we have to continue tomorrow?
I just asked devotees, Prabhuji. Can we continue till 9:30 Indian Standard Time?
We are supposed to end at 9 o'clock. Yeah, you asked the devotee. Yeah, can we continue to 9:30? We lost 30 minutes in the beginning.
Please suggest.
Okay, Mataji, I think we can.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Well, I would say we can continue. Can we go for another 30 minutes or not?
Yes, 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 Prabhuji. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we can. Please, Prabhuji, we can continue.
All right, so we continue for another 30 minutes and we can try to cover some area. So we go to text 18. Text 18 says, asking Indra was
Asking Indra
standing
was
by,
standing
he
by.
became ashamed of his own activities to touch it. Go ahead.
to touch his lotus feet. But
Yeah.
Prithu Maharaj immediately embraced him in great ecstasy and gave up all envy against him for his having stolen the horse meant for the sacrifice. Indra falls at Prithu Maharaj's feet and the king picks him and embraced him. Indra decided to fall down at the lotus feet of King Prithu, but the king was so magnanimous, a Vaishnav, he did not want Maharaj Indra to fall down at his feet. Instead, King Prithu immediately picked him up and embraced him, and both of them forget all the past incidents. Both King Indra and Maharaj Prithu were envious and angry with each other, but since both of them were Vaishnavas or servants of Lord Vishnu, it was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy. This is also a first class example of cooperative behavior between Vaishnavas. In the present days, Hare Krishna.
It is better to continue tomorrow.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll say this now. Maharaj is so eager to teach us, so I was not in a position to say no.
Connection is so bad.
Yeah.
Connection is so bad.
Yes. So this is also a first class example of cooperative behavior between Vaishnavas. In the present days, however, because people are not Vaishnavas, they fight perpetually
So
among one
rather
another and are vanquished
than
without
you
finishing the mission
were
of human life.
reading the slide.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, 18th verse. Purport.
Mm. Yeah, so yeah, so we know the story how Indra was trying to frustrate pretty much from doing his 100.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I please leave?
हाँ माता जी, क्या कर सकते हैं आप, मैं क्या करूं बताओ। आते हैं मैं बोल देती हूँ कि सुनाई दे रहा, सुनाई नहीं दे रहा, फिर हम ऐसे कर लेंगे।
यस माता जी, बिकॉज इट्स आई मीन काफी देर हो चुकी है ऑलरेडी
हाँ
टाइम।
यस यस, आई अंडरस्टैंड माता जी। अब
क्या
आए
मे बी
पर
प्रभु जी आ जाए फिर आई लीव। लेट मी सी अगर प्रभु जी का
एक
हो
में
जाता है।
एक, हाँ तो हम बोल देंगे, आवाज नहीं आ रही, मैं मैसेज कर देती हूँ, चलो।
हाँ हाँ प्लीज माता जी। थैंक यू।
एक मिनट योगेश्वर, एक मिनट, एक मिनट रुक
Hare
जाओ।
Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
The, the, the,
अम,
the
हरे कृष्ण
network is just too bad.
प्रभु जी, beg forgiveness, we are not able to hear anything actually. Voice is breaking so much that now we are unable to hear, understand. It's like you are saying something, but
The
we are not able to
network is
understand.
not good today.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, it's like you're
Hare
saying something, but
Krishna.
yes, Prabhuji, you're saying something, but your voice is so cracking that somehow we are not able to understand. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you so much for bearing this all. Prabhuji has said to end the meeting for today. So we will continue tomorrow. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. ओके माता जी. लीला प्रियम माता जी.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Nandan Pranam.
Good night.